image. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? It's a question that really hangs over the whole play, and I think it resonates with each character's story.
You start to think, how much do we compromise on our dreams? Because of societal pressures, because of limited resources, because of fear, and what's the cost of those compromises?
That's a great question, and it's one that I think Hansberry is really forcing.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome to Witter. You know, your shortcut to deep dives for busy minds. And for Black History Month, we're doing something special. We're diving into Lorraine Hansberry's play, A Raisin in the Sun. It was written back in the late 1950s.
Yeah.
But this play, it still has so much to say about what it means to be Black in America.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those plays that just grabs you right from the start. You know, Hansberry doesn't waste any time. She drops us right into the Youngers' world, this small, kind of worn-down apartment on Chicago's South Side. They're sharing it with other families, and
you really get a sense of that limited space, right?
Immediately. Limited space and resources, but also this incredible resilience, this love that holds them together. You really feel that tension, though, between where they are and where they want to be.
Yeah, each member of the family, they want something more out of life. But, you know, those dreams, they clash as they're trying to navigate a society that's not exactly making it easy for them.
Yeah, right. And then you have this $10,000 life insurance payout after Big Walter dies, the family patriarch. And that money, it becomes this huge symbol of hope.
There's potential for change, but also, you know, it exposes the different ways they see the American dream.
Exactly. So we have Lena, or as everyone calls her, Mama. She's the heart of the family, really the spiritual center, and she receives that insurance money.
Right. And she wants to use it for a down payment on a house, right?
Yes,
yeah.
In Clybourne Park, which is a white neighborhood at the time. So it's not just about stability for her, it's about legacy for her children. But it's also about pushing against those boundaries of segregation.
It's a powerful statement.
It is. Owning a home, it means more than just bricks and mortar for Mama. It's about claiming a space in a society that's constantly trying to, well, push her and her family to the margins.
There's Walter Lee, Mama's son.
Yeah.
He's a chauffeur, but he dreams bigger.
Much bigger. He clashes with Mama about that money. He wants to invest it. He wants to open a liquor store. He sees that as his path to success, to respect.
It's interesting, though, because his struggle is about more than just the money itself, isn't it?
No, definitely. He's desperate to provide for his family. Of course, he wants to be seen as a man, you know, a provider in a world that just constantly undermines his authority.
It's palpable, his frustration, especially in that cramped apartment. It's like even the lack of space is reflecting the lack of opportunity he feels.
Right. And then there's Ruth, Walter Lee's wife, working so hard, always trying to support him. She wants a better life too, but she's carrying the weight of their struggles. And then on top of all of that,
she finds out she's pregnant.
Right. And she's actually considering an abortion.
And that really highlights, I think, that for the Youngers, basic health care, it's a luxury, you know.
More than that, even. It's not an abstract political issue. It's about survival.
It also shows how intertwined their struggles are with, well, the limitations society has placed on them.
They're constantly fighting against these invisible walls, you know, the ones that limit their choices, their opportunities.
Yeah. Then we have Benitha, the college student. She dreams of becoming a doctor.
And she's really diving into the whole question of Black identity.
Yeah, she's this force, this intellectual force, you know, she's challenging everything, searching for her place in a world that offers her, well, conflicting messages.
It's true. She's drawn to George Murchison, who represents this idea of assimilating into white society, but she's also drawn to Joseph Asagai, who encourages her to embrace her African heritage.
It's like she's trying to figure out which version of herself will fit.
And which one will let her be both Black and successful in America. Even her choice to cut off her straightened hair and go natural, that becomes a powerful symbol of her struggle.
Rejecting the idea that she has to conform to be accepted.
Exactly.
And the play never lets you forget that this is all happening against a backdrop of, well, just blatant racism and segregation.
Right. They decide to move to Clybourne Park, a white neighborhood. And that triggers this really tense encounter with Carl Lindner. He represents the neighborhood association, and he actually tries to buy them out.
To keep them from moving in.
And that visit, it's not just about individual prejudice. It exposes this whole system that's working to keep Black families like the Youngers from achieving the same level of stability and prosperity as their white counterparts.
Makes you wonder how much progress we've actually made. What forms those systems of exclusion take today?
You're right. It's a question that resonates even now.
And the title of the play itself, A Raisin in the Sun, it's taken from a Langston Hughes poem, Harlem. That adds another whole layer to this.
It's such a powerful image. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? It's a question that really hangs over the whole play, and I think it resonates with each character's story.
You start to think, how much do we compromise on our dreams? Because of societal pressures, because of limited resources, because of fear, and what's the cost of those compromises?
That's a great question, and it's one that I think Hansberry is really forcing us to grapple with.
It plays out in the family dynamic too, right? You see that clash between Walter Lee's ambition and Mama's pragmatism. He wants to reach for the stars while she's trying to keep her family grounded, connected to their roots.
It highlights those different approaches within the Black community to achieving success, navigating a society that often feels hostile. And that's a debate that continues today.
And even with all that conflict, there's this deep well of love that runs through the play.
Oh, absolutely.
You see it in how Mama protects her children, how Ruth stands by Walter Lee, even when he makes it hard, the way Beneath It challenges them, but never loses sight of that love.
It's that love that gives them the strength to keep going, to face down those challenges and hold on to their dreams.
It makes you realize that even in the middle of struggle, even when those dreams seem impossible, there's still beauty, there's still hope, there's still love.
And that's what makes A Raisin in the Sun so powerful. It's not just about one family's struggle. It's about the enduring strength of the human spirit, the power of love to sustain us, and the importance of continuing to dream, even when it seems impossible.
You know, it's amazing when you think about how groundbreaking this play was back in 1959.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a young Black woman, Lorraine Hansberry, writing this incredible story about a Black family, and it just becomes a smash hit on Broadway.
I mean, it really shook things up.
Yeah.
You know, this was the first play by a Black woman to even be produced on Broadway.
Wow.
And then it wins the New York Drama Critics Circle Award for Best Play.
This is incredible.
It just forced people to really confront these realities of race and class in America that, you know, maybe they hadn't wanted to face before.
And she was more than just a playwright, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she was an activist.
Absolutely. Deeply involved in the civil rights movement. I mean, she understood that art could be a tool for social change.
She was living it.
Yeah. Her life and her work, they remind us that silence is not an option when you're faced with injustice.
It's powerful.
She used her platform to speak out, to advocate for equality, and to amplify the voices of those who are being silenced.
And she did it all with such incredible talent and insight.
She did.
She really had this way of portraying the complexities of the human experience with such honesty and compassion.
And her characters are so real, so relatable.
You see yourself in them.
You do. You see yourself in their struggles, their hopes, their frustrations. And even though the play is set in this specific time and place, those themes are so universal, so timeless.
You know, one of those themes that really stands out for me is the idea of dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about achieving material success. It's about that deeper yearning for something more, that feeling that there has to be more to life than just surviving.
Now, we see that in every character.
We do.
From Mama's dream of a home to Walter Lee's ambitions for his business to Benita's desire to become a doctor.
They all want something.
Each dream represents a different facet of what it means to really strive for something better, to reach for your full potential.
And the play doesn't shy away from showing how often those dreams are deferred or delayed.
Or even crushed.
Yeah, by the weight of society or systemic barriers.
It's true, and it makes you ask yourself, how often do we compromise on our own dreams? Out of fear, lack of resources, or maybe just because we've internalized those limitations that society has placed upon us. And what is the cost of those compromises, not just for ourselves, but for our communities and for the generations that come after us?
Yeah, that's something to think about.
It really is.
And it's interesting how Hansberry also weaves in this theme of faith.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mama's faith, it's the source of strength for her.
It is.
But it's not just this blind belief. You know, it's tested, it's questioned, it's pushed to its limits.
That's right. It's not a passive acceptance of her circumstances at all. It's an active force that helps her navigate these really difficult challenges and find a way forward even when she's wrestling with doubt and despair.
I think about that scene where she's so distraught over Walter Lee and what he's done, and she just cries out, "Lord, look down here and show me the strength." It's just so raw and honest.
It is. It really is. And it speaks to that universality of faith, how it can be both a source of comfort and a source of struggle.
Especially when you're facing profound injustice.
Absolutely.
And another thing that struck me is how each character is portrayed with such depth and complexity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, aren't these clear-cut heroes or villains?
Right.
They're all flawed, they all make mistakes, but they're so human, so relatable.
Hansberry, she avoids those easy stereotypes,
Yeah.
She gives us this nuanced view of Black life, showcasing the full range of emotions and experiences.
And even Walter Lee.
Yeah.
He can be frustrating, he's impulsive, but he loves his family so much and he wants to do right by them.
He does. He's just someone who's been denied opportunity and respect, and he lashes out sometimes.
In ways that are understandable, but also self-destructive.
Yeah, right. It reminds us that we can't always judge people's actions without understanding the context of their lives,
Yeah.
The systemic forces that have shaped their choices.
Yeah, context is everything.
It really is.
And beneath it, she can be headstrong and rebellious.
Oh, yeah.
But she's also brilliant and passionate and determined to make a difference in the world.
And her journey of self-discovery, her wrestling with her identity, that's something that so many people can relate to regardless of their background.
It's a human story.
It is. And even Ruth, who's often kind of in the background, she's so strong and resilient.
She really is.
She carries so much of the weight of their struggles, those impossible choices, but she never loses sight of her love for her family and her hope for a better future.
She's the anchor.
She is. Her strength, her unwavering support, they're essential for that family's survival, and that brings up another key theme, the importance of family.
Of having that support system.
Exactly. To help you navigate the challenges and hold on to those dreams. The Youngers, despite all their conflicts and disagreements, they're bound together by this deep love and loyalty.
They fight, they challenge each other.
But they always come back together. It's that shared history,
Yeah.
That understanding of each other's struggles that ultimately gives them the strength to persevere. And it reminds us that even in a society that can feel so isolating, so individualistic, we need each other.
We need those connections.
We do, those bonds of love and support to help us thrive. And it's incredible to think that the play premiered in 1959.
Right in the middle of the civil rights movement.
A pivotal moment in American history. And the play captured those anxieties, the hopes, and the frustrations of that era. It resonated deeply with audiences then, and it continues to resonate now, because the fight for equality and justice, it's not over.
Not even close.
It makes you wonder how much progress we've really made and what forms of systemic racism and discrimination still exist in our society today.
It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, you're right. The play doesn't shy away from those uncomfortable truths. It forces us to confront the ways in which our society is still failing to live up to those ideals of equality and opportunity for all. And that's why it remains so relevant.
It's not a museum piece.
It's a mirror
reflecting our present.
And a call to action for the future.
It's inspiring to think about how A Raisin in the Sun has been adapted and reinterpreted over the years.
Oh, yeah.
From the film with Sidney Poitier to all the stage revivals and even a musical.
It really speaks to the play's enduring power to connect with audiences, to transcend its historical context and speak to those universal themes, family dreams, resilience, and that ongoing struggle for a more just and equitable world.
Every generation finds something new to connect with.
They do something that resonates with their own experiences and the challenges of their time. It shows how great works of art have this ability to speak to the human condition in ways that are both timeless and timely. They become part of our cultural DNA, helping us make sense of the world around us and find our place in the ongoing story of human experience.
And, art could be such a powerful tool for empathy and understanding, for bridging divides and starting those conversations that need to happen.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to continue to support artists, to create spaces for diverse voices, and to engage with those works of art that challenge our perspective and make us see the world in new ways.
A Raisin in the Sun does that and more.
It does.
It's a story that stays with you. It makes you ask those tough questions and challenge those assumptions and see the world through a different lens.
It reminds us of the power of storytelling to connect us, to illuminate the human experience, and to inspire us to work for a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
It feels like every little detail in this play, it's like Hansberry's speaking to us in this symbolic language.
Oh, absolutely. Those symbols, they work because they tap into these universal human experiences.
Like Mama's plant.
Right?
It's this tiny thing barely surviving in that cramped apartment.
Yeah, but for Mama, it's so much more.
It represents hope.
Resilience.
Her own determination to create beauty even in the middle of hardship.
She's nurturing that plant the same way she's nurturing her family's dreams.
Even when everything around them feels like it's suffocating them.
And that image of the plant connects back to the title of the play, too.
It does.
Makes you think about those dreams when they don't have what they need to grow.
Do they wither? Like a raisin in the sun?
Or do they find a way to push through, to reach for the light, even in those dark spaces? It makes you think about the limitations we all face in our own lives.
Yeah. Whether it's lack of money, lack of opportunities, or just societal expectations.
Those limitations can feel like those cramped quarters, closing in on you.
Making it hard to breathe.
Making it hard to even imagine a different future.
And that insurance money, that's another powerful symbol.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this sudden burst of hope, of possibility.
A chance for them to break free.
But it also shows the danger of putting too much emphasis on material wealth.
Right. It causes conflict.
Exposes those different values within the family.
It tests their relationships, their loyalties.
And it becomes this catalyst for both growth and destruction.
It really makes you question what defines success.
Is it money? Or is it something more, something deeper?
Like family.
Community.
A meaningful life.
Then there's that new house in Clybourne Park.
That symbolizes their hopes for a better future.
A space of their own.
Piece of that American dream.
But it also shows the reality of segregation.
That deep-seated racism.
They face threats, discrimination.
People try to buy them out.
It's like this harsh reminder that hard work and determination, sometimes they're just not enough.
Not when the system is designed to keep people like the Youngers down.
That visit from Carl Lindner, it's so uncomfortable.
It is.
He represents that kind of insidious racism.
That politeness that masks something much uglier.
And it makes you think, are those subtle forms of discrimination still happening today?
I think we know the answer to that.
It makes you realize that the fight for equality, it's far from over.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And even though A Raisin in the Sun was written so long ago,
more than 60 years,
it still has so much to say to us today.
It does.
It makes us think critically about our own beliefs.
To confront our own biases.
To think about how we can create a more just world.
And it shows that even when things seem impossible,
there's always hope.
There's always that potential for change.
Like the Youngers.
Their resilience.
Their determination to keep fighting.
It's a reminder that we all have a part to play.
We can nurture those seeds of hope, support those who need it, and fight for a world where everyone can thrive.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we hope you'll seek out more works by Black authors.
There are so many incredible voices out there.
Stories waiting to be told.
It's up to all of us to amplify those voices, to make sure they're heard.
And as you read those works, think about how things have changed since Hansberry's time, but also how they haven't.
Whose voices are still missing.
What stories are still waiting to be told. We hope this deep dive into A Raisin in the Sun has sparked something in you.
A curiosity, a desire to learn more.
Keep those minds busy, keep those hearts open, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.